Welcome to Kozversations, where your host, Carl Kozlowski, talks with the world's most interesting people. And now, this week's Kozversation. Greetings, Earthlings. Welcome to another edition of Kozversations, where we bring you some of the world's most fascinating people from the worlds of pop culture, politics, and beyond, right out of the studios of Radio Titans here in Los Angeles. I'm Carl Kozlowski, as always, your host, bringing you a great conversation this week with somebody who has a fascinating life. You might not expect to hear an interview. It's rarely given by this gentleman, but it is the world-renowned comedian Carrot Top, who's also known as Scott Thompson, his birth name, and he has been operating out of Vegas, in particular, as the king of comedy in that fine city since the early 90s, and now is currently at the Luxor Hotel's theater, and is continuing a epic run of over a decade there. So, ladies and gentlemen, he's going to give you some fascinating insights into his career and his mindsets on the state of comedy. I bring you Carrot Top. Regular regimen, or you just...
No, I had a little bit of laryngitis about 2 weeks ago, and it's kind of lingering. So it's just, my voice is just kind of rat. So
Wow.
In Vegas, it just gets so dry, so it's just hard to keep it all going. It's the hardest part. I think that's the hardest part of the whole show is that. I swear to God, is not the energy, not that. It's just my voice. I'm always, it's just battling because it's dry in the desert and sand and dirt and whatnot. The jokes come easy. It's the voice. I swear. That's why if I ever cancel a show, it's because of my voice. Not even if I'm sick. I can do a show sick, but if I can't talk, it's like it's your whole vehicle. So it's kind of
Well, it looks like you when you come bursting out at the start, especially. It looks like you're you convey like you're winging it, but there's no way you can be winging it because you have all these cues that come with it, right? So, so how do you manage to pull that off? That kind of energy.
This is years of doing it. I don't know. I always find the funny thing is the energy. Was people always ask me that, like, how do you have the energy? So that's the easiest part because when I get here, we got the music on and the thing, and then the show starts. You get that pump, and you just like the people are laughing. And you're like, I can't wait to hit the stage. So that just comes easy. I don't know. If the energy, I'm always excited. People are like, are you always up for a show? I said, pretty much. Unless I'm really sick. If I'm really down in the dumps and I can't, like, last week when I had my voice issues, I was kind of like more bummed out because I was like, I want the crowd to feel like they're not getting the show they came to see. They see me before, like, we can't hear you. So I kept saying, you guys, can you hear? It's that kind of thing. But,
And what about when you're... because I read a couple stories, just to get some ideas beyond the obvious, and they were saying that you do try to drop in new things pretty regularly. How do you manage to pull that off when it's in a mix of I was told there's like 300 jokes in a show or something, right?
I never did the count on how many, but it's we did NASCAR stuff tonight because NASCAR crowd's here. We'll do soccer. I always just kind of I don't get too political, as you notice. I do like a little bit of touch on Trump, a little touch on this, but I just touch it just to let the audience know that I'm actually I am working the
new
Oscar,
stuff in
for the Oscar with the Mace. So it's I try to keep it current and especially up to date because I think I get a lot of people that always walk up and say, we see your show, you always keep it fresh. I think that's the most important part, I think, for a comic more than it is for a rock band. Because you go see a rock band, like I saw Elton John the other night, I wanted to hear Rocket Man, and I wanted to hear Levon, I wanted to hear all the hits. And then they play a new one, and I'm like, no one wanted to hear it. I like because I'm a fan, so I want to hear the new song, Looking Up. But with comedy, it's both. I think people want the old stuff, but if they know it so much, they want that new, I saw your show, I had a new joke about, NASCAR or whatever's topic at the time. So I think it's important to keep comedy topical and fresh, so especially because I get a lot of return customers.
And how often do you invent new things?
Daily, I don't do like a lot of times I think with people they see like Chris Rock, and they'll see a special on Chris Rock, and then or whoever comic, I'm just using Chris Rock as an example, and HBO, and then a year later they see another special. But if you went to the Chris Rock show during the year, you'd see throughout that it's kind of evolves to make another special. So that's kind of like what we do. So people say, you do the same show every night? Well, I don't do a whole new hour every night. No, it evolves.
Yeah.
So that's kind of...
You try to adjust it like a whole new show every year,
yeah,
pretty much?
Yeah, well, it kind of evolves into... there might be some stuff that general outline of stuff that I might be used for a while,
yeah.
but they always incorporate the new stuff, so you have... It kind of eventually, at 6 months into the show, from here, you see it, you go, oh, I like all the... I like all the new stuff. So it kind of evolves as opposed to just changes completely overnight. Yeah.
Okay.
But I try to keep it as current. I try to come up with one a day. That's my thing. Even if it's a song joke or if it's a one-liner, like I did the Shaun White snowboarding thing. I was just kind of being stupid.
Yeah. How does your guy know when to put... how to play along with that, though? That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's weird. We have
rehearse?
No, we don't rehearse. We have a little... That's kind of one of the things I've never been... I don't know. I've been very lucky. I've had the same crew from day one, and I think we just kind of danced together.
Yeah.
And tonight he did a couple things actually for me, and I did a couple things for him, and we kind of came together. It was kind of a cool moment.
Uh-huh.
But no, we don't really have time rehearsals, so I kind of give him a little beat, or I'll give the video guy a look. And I'll do like tonight I did this, meaning skip this and go to the Blue Man Group and not do the Elton John thing. So
okay.
We have a little bit of communication between the signals between us, but nothing that people really notice much.
Yeah. And then I saw that you are renewed through 2020, but on the Esquire story it said you were hoping to go all the way to 60. So is that still the hope, or are you cool with dropping at 20?
No,
okay.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having more fun than I did when I was 20, 30.
Yeah, and why do you think that is? Like, because a lot of people would say, "Oh, doesn't that get old?" And it doesn't seem like it does for you.
My friends in there just asked me the same thing. They said, "They've been coming forever." He said, "What? You seem like you're having more fun than you did when you..." I said, "I am. I don't know what it is. I think it's one of those things when you get. I think not that I didn't appreciate it when I was younger, but I think I feel like I'm appreciating it more as I've gotten older. I'm starting to sit back and kind of taking it in the sense like, wow, this is a really cool thing. I get to do this, and people still come out, and I get to do this.
Yeah.
And I find more satisfaction than I did when I was younger. I think you just kind of take it for granted when you're a kid, young. Of course, I'm going to have this gig, and then you get older, and you're like, wow, this is a great. I have so many friends that would love to have a show every night. So I get up there. I'm not kidding. Like right before I go, I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
And it's fun, and I get to feed off them, so.
Well, because one thing that I do stand-up comedy also. Obviously,
why am I telling you this?
But I'm a professional at it, but I'm not like I do it sort of
so then
half and half.
Same thing. It's a really cool thing to get to do this for a living.
Well, yeah, but what I was going to say is that one of my best friends shocked us all yesterday. She had this big surprise. She wasn't telling me what's going on. Suddenly she reveals on Facebook she's with Stephen Colbert, and she made her debut on late night TV. And I can't say, well, oh boy, yeah. Let's just say she's not the youngest person, but she's not super old. Because I'm not supposed to know how old. Because I was like, whoa, how old is she? And what I meant was, when I asked was, my other buddy who knew was just like, wow, I didn't think it was possible to just come out of nowhere at our age. And I'm 46 and she's in the ballpark, this person, because she may wind up hearing this somehow. And so and I was like, oh my gosh, wow, so it is possible to still get a break. And so we were all like, wow, we need to buckle down and do what she did, because she just decided over the past year, boom, take it more seriously again. And she had a little shake-up in her life and decided, boom, okay, this is what I do. And bam, within a year of really applying herself, she managed to get on Colbert.
That's beautiful. So,
yeah.
That's great.
But, so I was going to say...
how is Roseanne? She's okay?
Yeah. So anyways, but what I just meant, I get what you're saying about how you keep it fresh or whatever, but, or keeping a happy place with it. So then how did the whole... how did you get your start with the whole prop thing? Because were you doing this from the beginning, or is it something that you went into after doing regular jokes?
Not far from the beginning, but yeah, when I first started doing comedy, it was just stand-up. And of course, it wasn't even my stand-up. It was just jokes, Carlin jokes or whatever. Because I wasn't really in a comedy club. I was just at the college open mic, and so I went up and just fun, just telling jokes. And I loved the idea of being up there and how it felt.
Yeah.
Then they had the comedy club in West Palm Beach, and I went there and auditioned for the woman. And she said, "Well, there's something about you that I really love. I don't know what it is, but you have it." And I was like, "Great." She said, "But your jokes, you're talking about college and dorm room and parking." And I said, "Yeah." She's like, "It's not going to translate to our customers, and I was like, oh yeah, it makes sense actually, because I'm in a dorm room, talking to all these colleges. It did make sense. It was funny.
Yeah.
So she said, if you could come up with some stuff that was maybe a little more general, broad. And I said, I'll try. I really don't know what I'm really doing. So I went back to the drawing board and I came up with a couple things about my appearance. I did a joke about looking like the Wendy's girl, hamburger girl.
Yeah.
And she liked that. She's like, I love that. And then I had this prop. And it wasn't even something I made. It was a sign that I stole. There was 2 signs. One was a Crime Watch sign. And I said, sorry, I'm late. I was in the neighborhood. And I said, this is my first joke I ever did on TV, too. I said, how good is the neighborhood crime watch if they're not watching their signs? It took me a second to go through a house. It took me an hour and a half to hold this fucking sign. No one stopped me. So she's like, that's good. It's clever and it's funny and it's great. And then there's a street in West Palm called Butts Road, and it says where all the assholes live, and I did this stupid whatever. Like, I love that. If you could do more of that. So I don't know if she meant then I should do props, or she just meant she liked that. So I started going back and coming up with more visual stuff, and which is funny, and it turned into this whole thing, kind of genre in a sense, and I came with her and she said, wow, you have like 20 props. And I said, yeah. I said, if I can get like 40, can I feature? She goes, yeah. In a sense, the more shit I built, the more time I could do.
Yeah.
So
if
I do like 2 trunk, can I do headlines? She goes, yeah. So I just kept building more shit so I could do more time.
Are you from Florida? Is that how
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was one of the jokes back in the day with all the comics like Larry the Cable Guy and all those guys. We were all in the, right before the show starts, you say, you do 5 minutes, you do a trunk, you do 5 minutes, and it was always funny, you do a trunk. Which would accumulate to the time that they would do a stand-up, so then I said, if I do 2 trunks, I can feature. So, but yeah, the props just slowly kind of got into the thing, and what's weird about that is it went from, like, not knowing what I'm doing, which I still don't know what I'm doing, but I do the prop thing, so heavy. And now I'm having more fun doing stand-up stuff. So, like, friends of mine that come, they're like, you do a lot of stand-up. And I said, I know. I got more comfortable just talking without holding up a prop.
Yeah.
But when I do, like, the television shows, like the Regis or the Tonight Show, all those shows, they want that. They don't want me to, they're like, you're Carrot Top. We're not bringing you in to talk. I'm like, fuck. So Jay, right before he left, he's like, I'll be on the thing. We'll do the film. We'll do the Carrot, no problem, no top. I said, yeah, no props. I'm going to come out. The trunk's to be there, but I'm not going to open it. I'm just going to do stand-up for like 5 minutes. Never happened because it ended up, I don't know, it turned to the 10th of his show, and then he moved it again and back, and da-da-da. But there's been a few shows that have are thinking about it, saying, we'll take the risk. Maybe Colbert. We've been talking about going. So,
oh, wow.
So it'd be fun to say, yeah, Carrot, I didn't touch one prop. I said, yeah. So you tell stories without telling,
Yeah, well,
I have fun doing it too.
Yeah, because in the Esquire story, this was like from 2015, they were saying, they pointed out how you told a story in your show each night, and for like 3 minutes, and that you felt that it was like a completely different level of risk and excitement for you. So I forget, did you do that tonight, or I don't think you did do a story.
I do a lot of. Well, I do it tonight. I do it 20 minutes, but I don't touch a prop.
Oh, okay.
But there might be some screen stuff, but there's no. I don't pick up props for about 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, okay, but you're still just a rapid fire jokes.
I'm just talking about sports, but there might be a video, something, or a music thing. But I don't do a prop for. There's a whole bunch of. There's a whole chunk in there where I don't really touch a prop for a while. People are like, that's why I just small props.
Okay.
But,
okay.
It's fun to kind of dance in and out of the props and the stand-up and then the whatever. But yeah, there's other stand-up stories that I do that I will probably do on the road when I don't do the Vegas stuff. Because the Vegas stuff I won't do on the road.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the difference between what can people expect?
Yeah, it's going to be built because I'll touch on the fact that I've been in Vegas for 20 some years, so I'll touch on it, but I won't do a whole chunk and core of all the Vegas stuff because it wouldn't make sense if I'm in. I mean, it still translates.
Yeah.
Like I played Foxwoods in the casino. We still talk about the casino stuff, but there'll be a whole bunch of stuff. There's a whole bit that I will be doing, which is really fun for me. Is reminiscing. It's called the Classic Trunk. It's Carrot Top classic stuff, and it's all the stuff from the 80s and 90s that I did.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's cool, and it's all the actual props from that era. So, and then when I do it, I'm doing stuff like this is 1986. People, this is funny. 1986, like it's a Pee Wee Herman doll joke. There's a bank tube, and there's like an ice tray with a level. It's stuff that you can tell that this was. It still plays, which is fun, but you can tell that it was like no one knows an ice tray. Who has ice trays anymore? So I'll say this was in fucking 86. This fucking killed. It was an ice tray that had levels. So when you filled it with water, you bring it back to the freezer, you wouldn't spill it, kind of like.
Yeah.
So just it's fun to reminisce, and then I tell the crowd the whole story about